Hiya everyone, I'm Jamie, and today I'd like to talk about skill-based matchmaking, or MMR, in Dead by Daylight. I've put off making this video for a long time because I wanted the system to settle, see the general effect on the game, gather my views, that sort of thing. I want to begin by saying that I am thoroughly average at this game. Despite playing it a lot, I'm not terrible, but I'm not good either, and that kind of affects my views on the system, so I just wanted to preface the video with that. And before I talk about the new system, I'd like to talk about the old system, as Dead by Daylight used to use a rank-based matchmaking system that kind of rewarded you for playing the game a lot rather than being good at the game. So basically, if you played the game a lot, you'd often get to a high rank and be played against, other players that got to that rank. Sometimes it was players that played a lot, sometimes it was players that were good at the game. Yeah, basically the higher ranks of the old system were a combination of the two. So when the ranking system was used for matchmaking, it often resulted in me being matched way out of my ability, simply to the amount I played the game. So as Survivor, I'd often just get carried by better teammates, so I'd technically escape a lot of the time, but if the killer saw me, I would be killed very, very quickly. I was the weak link in virtually every game I played. And as killer, I'd mostly get to around rank 8 and then play for barbecue stacks more than anything else, as I didn't have the skill to catch the survivors enough to actually kill them. So, I couldn't stop gens, so I mostly just played for points, meaning I'd get brutal kill on most games, black pip, and stay in rank 8. The system didn't work for me, as ranking up could be achieved through sheer grind rather than skill. I'd spend most of the month matched way out of my skill level. It didn't work for me. Thankfully for me, this system is no longer used for matchmaking. As most people know, the system now uses matchmaking ratings, or skill-based matchmaking. I can't think of a better way to discuss this, so I want to give what I think are the pros and cons for MMR in Dead by Daylight. Starting with the pros, overall I feel my matches have been fairer, more balanced and more accurate to my skill level, with the system adjusting far quicker, altering my rating in much larger jumps after a win or loss. That's just my personal experience though. Secondly, the move away from rank-based matchmaking opened up the ranks for the far better grade system and the blood point rewards that come with that. The monthly boost to blood points is really nice. Ending games quickly is not punished as it was under the old system. If you kill all the survivors or escape quickly, you're not slapped with the equivalent of a safety pip for winning too well. Differing MMR for each killer allows players to pick up a killer they're not so good with and get slightly easier matches, giving them a chance to get used to the killer. And finally, the simplicity of the system, only using kills/escapes, makes it very easy to understand what will affect your ranking, especially for new players. Moving on to the cons, on the other hand, the system only using kills and escapes ignores other aspects of skill in the game, especially on the survivor end. For example, sacrificing yourself to ensure your team escape, or the very out of your control situation of getting face camped. The hidden nature of MMR has contributed to the system becoming a lightning rod for all complaints in the game. For example, many assume they are high MMR and blame basically everything in the game on that, people playing sweaty, even though that happened before MMR. People tend to it just tends to be a lightning rod for complaints. The hidden MMR value results in players not feeling like they're improving. They play, their matches stay just as challenging as their MMR goes up. They have no feedback to whether they're improving or not. That's what the ranking system did well. It let players know they were getting better. The soft cap of MMR is too easily reached, so the higher end of MMR is becoming bottlenecked with too many players, especially killers, reaching the high MMR levels. And finally, according to the devs, the system can't accurately function, as there are not always players available that the system wants to place into a match, so it has to widen its search, making matches less accurate. So the system knows what kind of players it wants to put together, what kind of numbers they want to put together, but obviously they're not always available because, not everyone at every skill level is playing the game at the same time. So to conclude and kind of put all my points a bit more together, personally for me, I think the MMR system is better than the old rank-based matchmaking. My matches feel fairer, more competitive, more evenly matched, and I love the new grade system that has replaced ranks, mainly because I'm addicted to blood points. I just want blood points. Just give me all the blood points, please. I do recognise that this is not the case for all players, as the system does seem to work less effectively at high MMR due to the cap and the bottleneck effect of just too many players being up there. I think many of the problems with MMR could be alleviated by making the system visible, letting people see their MMR. It would give the feeling of progression as well as showing people where they stand, so not everybody would think that they're high MMR. Furthermore, while I recognise that kills/escapes is a flawed way of determining skill in the game, I do think that skilled survivors escape more than they die, and skilled killers kill more survivors than unskilled killers. Yeah, there are situations in which a survivor will get chased the majority of the game, get hit by NOED, and get face camped to death while everyone else escapes. However, that face camp survivor clearly has the skill to avoid a killer for the majority of the game, and most likely do escape a fair amount of their games due to this level of skill in chase. Yes, they will lose MMR this game, but unless that happens to them every single game, which is highly unlikely, then their MMR will still balance out as relatively high. Their skill will definitely show in the sum of all their games, not just one outlier. Same with a killer that gets 8 hooks and no kills. This killer is clearly skilled, and their MMR will level out with the result of all their games. I feel the MMR system is being viewed in too much of a case-by-case basis, match by match, and too often the big picture is being ignored. However, I do recognise that it's frustrating for it to be implied that you lost despite playing well. Like, that never feels good, and I think that is the downside to making MMR visible, but I do think that it would help overall more than it would hinder. And my overall view, my very simplified view, is it's definitely not a perfect system, but I think it gets way more hate than it deserves. But yeah, those are my poorly organised and rambly notes about MMR in Dead by Daylight. I hope you enjoyed the video. I just basically wanted to get my thoughts out there because I don't see any positivity towards the system, and I don't think it's as bad as people seem to think it is. Like, it seems like it's become the boogeyman of Dead by Daylight, and people just force all their complaints about the game on this system, when a lot of their complaints existed before this system. It's just become the new lightning rod for all complaints. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a wonderful day. And yeah, please just keep it civil. If you want to comment, go ahead, but just keep it civil. Let's just have a conversation about this, because I think this system gets too much hate. But anyway, I've said that. Hope you have a wonderful day. See you again soon. Bye bye.